we're going to do my first non-vlog video. And I thought it'd be fun to do my first one on the Dexa scan I got the other day. So, I am in the Central Ohio area. So if you are interested, there is a study going on right now at the Ohio State University, and it is about DEXA scans. Now, if you don't like AI, you might not want to do it because it's essentially training an AI app to allow to best estimate body fat percentages via photos. Now, I understand people's hesitancies with AI, and if you aren't comfortable giving photos of yourself for AI, understandable. But the key here is I actually think this is a great use of AI. So my first standpoint or first piece of this all is this is actually something that's really great in my opinion. Now, ChatGPT and Claude probably are pretty accurate as is, but this is really focusing on taking DEXA scans, taking Inbody scans, and taking anthropometric measurements of your hips and waist. And I think that having a tool that's very focused on it has some potential, especially given there's such a wide variance in what body fat percentages look like across individuals. Now, I suspect it's not going to be perfect because the issue that arises is they're taking photos and you're still wearing shorts, and I'm sure that females are still wearing sports bras, and so like it's a catch 22, right? Like you don't want to put photos of people naked on this thing. But it's really hard because for me, as we'll get into, I am a really low body fat percentage, but all of my fat is in I can't say all of it. I would rec I from this a majority of my fat is in my legs, and I would say that it's probably in my hips as well. So like I have a lot in my glutes right now. That's where most of my body fat probably is. Um, Anywho, really cool study, free Dexas. So if you're interested in getting a Dexa scan for free, that's the way to do it. OSU does offer Dexa scans for 150, 125, 150 bucks, but you have to have a physician fill out a form for it. So, highly recommend giving that a try. Now on to the fun piece. So my Dexa, and so my Dexa, let's start with this. My Dexa shows that I am 7.4% body fat. That's not going to focus. 7.4% body fat. I did get this at 3:30 p.m. So it was a day of like pretty normal eating, and I did not eat 3 hours. The last meal I had was 3 hours prior, 3.5 hours prior to this DEXA scan, so probably not a huge impact from food. I didn't overconsume liquids. I consumed a normal amount of liquids, and so I would say that it's relatively accurate. It showed that I am 166.2 pounds, or no, it shows I'm 168 pounds. I'm guessing the 166.2 is what their scale had me at. So, um, and then for reference, I also got an Inbody from them, and that showed me at 6.4%. So a difference of only 1% between an Inbody and a Dex is actually really good. However, I'd probably say it's because I have a good understanding of DEXA scans as is, because I worked at a place that gave DEXA scans. I've administered DEXA scans before, and I know a lot of the things that can really skew your results one way or another. So with that being said, I would say I'm probably am around 7.5%. That's what I was thinking I was. I was thinking it's probably closer to 8 right now. Um, I was thinking around 8-ish% was likely my body fat percentage, um, which is about one point where I think I wanted to be because I'm aiming to lose about 3 more pounds, 2 to 3 more pounds. Go on stage around 163 is the goal. Um, I'm like I weighed 165 this morning, but I haven't been sleeping well, so there's likely a dip in body weight just because of that. Now, the big piece here, and it even puts a caveat on the sheet. I'll read this to you. Statistically, 68% of repeat scans fall within one standard deviation, plus or minus 0.4% body fat, plus or minus 4% body fat, 0.33 pounds of lean tissue mass, 0.62 pounds of fat mass, 0.68 pounds of lean mass for total body. 68% still relatively low, I'd say. Um, while Dexa is considered quote unquote the gold standard, I don't think it actually is. I think that your gold standard is a CT scan. Now, granted, you're not going to get a CT scan. It's just outrageously expensive to get a full body CT scan to get information. You're not going to get a whole lot of information from anyways. However, it is more accurate than an Inbody typically. Inbodies do have a wider margin of error. Again, I would say that mine being only off by 1% in comparison to a Dexa is an outlier. But again, I I knew to not work out beforehand, which I didn't. I was I worked out when I got home. I didn't over drink liquids. I didn't do any strenuous activities beforehand. I was just kind of walking around the house, cleaning. So those are the things that you have to keep in mind. I also already took my poop during the day, which can make your body fat seem higher. Exercising beforehand can make your body fat seem lower. Over consuming liquids can make your body fat appear lower. Anything that can impact the speed in which the electrical current goes through your body will have an impact. So liquids would reduce the time, so it means that you lower body fat versus fecal matter would make it harder to travel through. So it increase your body fat percentage. Being over or underhydrated, obviously, there's a plethora of things that can impact it in body. But the same holds true for your DEXA scan, right? When I was like, I was like, okay, so like, let's just Google real quick. Google AI, not very accurate, mind you, but very reasonable. Was like, don't, no hard exercise 12 to 24 hours beforehand. Check, got it. Didn't, I did my last workout a little less than 20. It was like 21 hours. I finished my workout 6 p.m. the night before. So 21 hours of not exercising. And then I um, walked in the morning. I do like an hour of walking in to start my day of work, which wasn't too strenuous. I walk at like 2.6 miles per hour, maybe, just because that's an easy enough pace that I can work and read and do stuff and not get distracted by the walking. I've tried 3.2, and 3.4, and it's just a little too fast. But again, not a lot of strenuous activity, just super duper basic stuff. So again, that's probably why I was within a relatively small margin. Usually we'd see a little bit closer to 7%, likely 4 to 7% difference fluctuation. But really cool to see that I'm at 7.5%. Roughly, again, there's a margin of error there of 0.4%. Realistically, again, maybe around 8%. And the goal is to drop 2 more% of body fat between now and the competition. Which, if my calculation was correct, it's about 3 pounds would get me there. So if we get down to 8 pounds of body fat, we'll be super lean. And I think that would be a competitive advantage. I mean, competing as a body in bodybuilding, category specifically, you want to be as lean as possible, and getting down 5 to 6% body fat will get me there. So, major takeaways. If you want, go check out Ohio State University, the Ohio State University's DEXA scan study, free DEXA scans. If you don't, they do offer them. If you don't want to be part of the study and train their AI model, that's fine. Totally get it. They do offer DEXA scans at $125. You do have to get a physician to sign off on you getting one. It is not covered by insurance. 2, DEXA scans aren't this unbelievable, like it's 100% correct. Only 68% of the time, it's within one standard deviation, like I said, which is 90% of 90% is going to fall within 90% of the time you will fall within a certain range. So plus or minus 0.3% body fat. Again, there's a lot of things that can impact it, so be very aware of that. Look those things up and be conscious of them. And then if you're at a gym and someone's trying to sell you an Inbody, don't do it after your workout, because it's going to skew it. Don't take it as even the Dexa, don't take it as a end all be all. You shouldn't. And even for myself, I'm very hesitant on it. I'm very reserved with this because there is errors. There's so many things that can impact it. And coming back to the Inbody, Inbodies are incredibly inaccurate. However, if you use them under the same conditions, under the same circumstances every single time, then it might have some merit just for a tracking purpose. I mean, I think I've talked about it already a little bit, but fitness trackers, in even weight, like it's more so just being about consistency with it. So you don't need a DEXA scan all the time. You're not going to see drastic changes in your body fat in like a short period of time, or your fat-free mass in a short period of time. So with that being said, like if you want to use it and it's not a burdensome cost to you, you can use the Inbody to kind of keep track, but be conscious that when you use it, you should use it under the same circumstances. Preferably, in my opinion, it should be first thing in the morning after a bowel movement, and you haven't eaten, you have not consumed food, and you have not consumed a large amount of liquids beforehand. Same should be true about Dexa. I would have rather have done it at 8 a.m. in the morning, not eaten anything, not consumed any liquids, and had my morning poop. Would have been, I think, a more accurate representation of what my body fat percentage is. Again, it's a rough estimate. It's likely off by one. It's likely off plus or minus 0.5 to 1%. So again, coming back to it, Inbodies, they're okay. Don't get too excited about the numbers. Use it as a metric for tracking. I think that's a really good. Use it in conjunction with physical looks, like your like photos. It's a tool. It's a tool in the toolbox, and you should use it accordingly. Use it as a direction. Don't use it as your only thing. So, hope that helps, and have a fantastic week, everyone.